What are the three greatest TV lineups of all time? As television networks start debuting their new seasons, a look back at the best TV lineups of all time. From groundbreaking to groovy. Do you agree with my list? Hi, this is Tracy Briggs, and welcome to this week's Back Then. Our kids will never quite understand what life was like for us in the old days, right? How we mastered cursive writing, rotary phones, and Pong, all while taking care of our pet rocks and not smashing our fingers with clackers. And that was just the 1970s. Then there was how we watched TV. Kids born in the 21st century, those accustomed to countless sources of streaming entertainment, will never understand what it was like to have just 4 TV stations. I, for one, couldn't wait to get my sticky little Jolly Ranchered fingers on the extra thick TV Guide fall preview issue each year. It was full of schedules for the new season and blurbs about the new shows. What should I watch? When would I turn from one channel to the next? What would I do if 2 favorite shows went up against each other? Oh, the horror of the pre-VHS days. So many possibilities. Of course, most new shows failed, but some TV shows became monster hits. And when paired with other monster hits, created the most epic, legendary lineups of all time. Without further ado, here are my choices, in no particular order, for the 3 best TV lineups of all time. I've also included an honorable mention, mostly because of my enduring love of a certain 1970s TV cop. I'll tell you about him in the end. Maybe you agree with me. First of all, the sentimental favorite, ABC Friday Night, 1971 to 1972. Some of you will know exactly what I'm talking about. I know this is not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but to 8-year-old me, ABC on Friday night was nirvana. Get a load of this. The Brady Bunch, The Partridge Family, Room 222, The Odd Couple, and Love American Style. Here in the Central Time Zone, we'd kick off our Friday night with The Brady Bunch at 7 o'clock. Maybe we'd be eating a dinner of pork chops and applesauce. Then at 7:30, come on, get happy. It was time for The Partridge Family. And the big debate was always in our household with my sister and I and my cousins. What do you like more, The Brady Bunch or The Partridge Family? And I have to say I wavered back and forth. The shows in the 8 o'clock hour, they skewed a little bit older than the bubblegum bliss of the earlier hour, with the school-based comedy Room 222, and then Neil Simon's The Odd Couple, starring Jack Klugman and Tony Randall. If we were lucky, Mom and Dad, or the babysitter, would let us stay up to watch the slightly risque Love American Style, where every joke went over my Cindy Brady-esque pigtailed head. The gold standard, CBS Saturday Night, 1973 to 1974. Now, if you do research on this, which is the kind of research I like to do, by the way, a lot of people will say this is the number 1 lineup of all time. And again, I said this is no particular order, but this is definitely a lineup some people can't even believe existed because these shows were so great. The shows that filled CBS's lineup on Saturday night in the early 70s are, on their own, considered some of the best programs in TV history. But put them together, and it's almost hard to imagine that this kind of quality was scheduled back to back to back to back on a weekend night. Here they are. All in the Family, MASH, The Mary Tyler Moore Show, The Bob Newhart Show, and The Carol Burnett Show. Remember that? Not only were these shows groundbreaking in their treatment of issues like racism and women's rights, but they were also just plain hilarious to people of all ages. I remember my parents laughing and my sister and brother and I laughing. I maybe didn't get all the jokes in All in the Family, but I do remember laughing my head off, especially at Mary Tyler Moore. Again, these were just plain hilarious. Think about Sammy Davis Jr. kissing Archie Bunker and the demise of Chuckles the Clown. Classic episodes. Need I say more? Must-see magnificence, NBC, Thursday, 1984 to 1985. By the 1980s, when dramas like Dallas and Dynasty were kings and queens of the little screen, sitcoms, it seemed, couldn't quite measure up. That changed in 1984 when NBC stacked their Thursday night with such quality writing, acting, and directing that they eventually outperformed those soapy dramas. Except maybe when Crystal and Alexis Carrington duked it out in the fountain. Remember that? How does anybody compete against that? The lineup on Thursday night on NBC, some of you know this very well. It featured The Cosby Show, Family Ties, Cheers, Night Court, and Hill Street Blues. It was often compared to the CBS Saturday night lineup from a decade earlier. According to MeTV, it also helped define the weeknight pattern going forward of programming where you'd have 4 sitcoms earlier in the evening, capped off by a gritty drama, whether it was a police drama or a courtroom drama or a medical drama. That was kind of the pattern where the pattern was set for that. All right, here's my honorable mention. I called it a honorable mention. ABC, Tuesday, 1978 to 79. Here we go. Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Three's Company, Taxi, and Starsky and Hutch. The first 4 shows certainly, in my book, deserve honorable mention just for their theme songs. But I won't sing them, but you know darn well what they are. Schlemiel, Schlemazel. Now, I also thought about this as honorable mention because the last show makes the cut, Starsky and Hutch, because after 44 years, I still have a crush on Starsky. And my husband knows all about it. We used to debate who was cuter, Starsky or Hutch. I was in the Starsky camp. Anyway, I know I've missed many, many favorite lineups. Given my age, I know that the 70s and 80s are heavily featured here. So did I miss some Westerns from the 50s and 60s? Those lineups, did you love those? Or you people that are a little bit younger, did I miss some animated classics of the 90s and 2000s? Let me know your favorites. You know my email address, tracy.briggs@formcom.com. Most importantly, enjoy the new fall TV season. I know, because I'm a TV addict, I will be glued, as I always am. Happy viewing. Thanks again for listening to Back Then with Tracy Briggs. I am Tracy Briggs. I'll check in with you again next week. Forum Communications is proud to be part of The Trust Project. Learn more at thetrustproject.org.